a podcast syndicate production. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process, and a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
In love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's
As we survive and strive to be stronger.
You are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to love, growth, and freedom.
the different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Hello, welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte, and this is our penultimate episode. Yay! I can't wait for us to talk about this. And on this episode, we are going to talk about wondering if we're on the right path. Do you ever feel so lost that you don't even know where to go next? In this episode, we'll dive deep into our thoughts and as we wonder if we're ever on the right path. Maybe just being sure of the now is just as important as knowing where we're going. And if you want to know more, stay tuned. There you go. All right, so I am thrilled to be doing this episode again. I've been wishing and I've been so excited to tell you all about this. And this has been a journey for me for quite a while now, wondering if I'm ever on the right path. And I think a lot of us here would relate to that because we're always wondering. There's no certainty in this world. There's a lot of things that you're always going to be unsure of. And being on a path that we want to be in is probably not the first thing that we get right on the first try and everything. So I want to talk to you about that. So the first thing that we always ask ourselves, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? If we're doing the right job that we love, or is it really what I want to be in the future? So what I want to tell you is that it's normal to feel like we don't know where we're going. It's normal to feel confused about the things that we want because we don't always have to know if we're on the right path that what was destined for us. Maybe we have to learn it along the way. Maybe we just have to figure it out as we tread the things that we have to do in life, to follow the path. Each of us has our own thing going on, and maybe we don't see clearly the direction where our lives are headed, but maybe doing the things that we love right now will lead us to that. And I'll tell you a story about that. Going through a lot of things, I started my adulthood life, with different kinds of jobs, and I took up a different degree. I took up consular and diplomatic affairs, and I tried interning for a company like CALD, or Council of Asian Liberals and Democrats, that really was focused on the field that I chose in college. And then I tried operations, and I tried marketing, and then I tried teaching, and look where it got me. I had to go through all those hoops just to find where I enjoyed the most. And how did I know that it was something for me? Um, I really didn't know what I was gonna do after college. I was just understanding that I have to apply to a job, get the job done, just keep the ball rolling to understand where I want to go. And I did not have like a clear vision of what was the next 5 years gonna be for me. All I knew was that I need a job and I had to go through it. I never knew the next steps yet. And maybe, maybe not knowing your next step is okay. That's what I want to try to say here, because we all are so worked up and wound up to finding like the things that we want to do. We're all looking forward like the end line, that we forget to see the process, the routes that we're going through to get to that. Because I never really knew what I wanted then. I never really knew what I felt like I wanted to do. And I was just doing the things that I think I loved then. I was just focusing and working on the things that mattered to me then. So with all that, how I went through all those is that I discovered myself. I tried to figure myself out and how I want to live my life. I focused on the things that I loved, doing what I love. I did content creation, I did everything. And it really just had to fall into place the more that you put into it, the more that you put your effort towards it. As you pay it forward, you'd realize that probably this is where you want to be. So a little story. So when I did all of those, I never knew that I wanted teaching, and it just clicked when I wanted to become a teacher. When I became a teacher, it just clicked. I and I also found it out, and I also thought that the universe gave this opportunity to me to become a teacher. It's because how I got the job. So at first, I applied for marketing and applied for a demo in Cambridge. I had the marketing job before I became a teacher. I did that both in August of 2018. And then I was supposed to have I had the interview of the marketing job August, and on the same week, I had that demo. But when I went to that marketing job, I thought it was something that I really liked because I was doing blogging, I was marketing, I was doing a lot of all those um, marketing stuff. And I thought that I could learn from it, and maybe that was the path that was for me. And I tried it out. I applied, I got the interview, and then they offered me the jobs, which felt good, amazing. That was one of my first time to actually legitimately apply for a real adult job that required me all the necessary things to be an adult, like TIN number, SSS, and all those. And I did. I got the job. It was great at first. And I blew off the teaching job because I was like, okay, let's give marketing a chance. Maybe this is where I want to be, this is where I want to grow. Turns out I loved it. I enjoyed all the things that I had to do there. I loved it at first. It was good. There were mentors, there were things, but there were internal struggles in the company that led me to realize that maybe this is not where I want to be. You know, if I wanted a job that's not going to chase me home, marketing isn't something that I want to do all the time because it's going to chase me home either way. And I never felt okay with it. Never felt fine just bringing it home all the time. Or not really all the time, but bringing it home at the very least. And in that few months, I stayed in that job for at least August until November of 2018. And I realized maybe this is not where I want to be. And there were some issues that I had to face. I was really just so not having it. But the silver lining there is that I had co-workers, colleagues that were just amazing. And up until now, we're friends. We're awesome people and friends. And they're just great. And we look back at that and we're thankful that we all came from that company and came out of it stronger than ever and realized that we were for keeps. And that was just great. It was a beautiful thing that was born out of that terrible, terrible experience, I would say, in my opinion. And then I when I wanted to resign, I decided to resign. I called in and messaged the school that I applied for and I asked them if the slot was still open, if they still needed a teacher. And surprisingly, they did. And I used that and looked at that as a sign from the universe that maybe this was for me. So when I heard about it, the day that my resignation was effective, which was November 7, the next day I went in for the demo and tried. When I got into the demo, I got into the interview, the next final interview, and then a week after, I started the teaching job. And that's when it clicked, when it hit me, where like, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be, you know? Because anyone could have gotten the job in August, and that opportunity could have passed out on me and never happened again. But it didn't. It felt like it was for me. I felt like it was made for me. So when I got into teaching, I never knew that I loved it so much until I was really just put into the battlefield and taught kids. It was great. I went into that, and 2 months, 3 months then, I realized I really loved what I did and what I kept doing, and I was just learning the ropes. I was so immensely like focused and what do you call that? Focused and really charged up to learn all the things I could do to teach the kids the best way that I could. And it led me to want to study. I told my parents that, hey, I want to study, I want to get my licensure as a teacher. I want to be a licensed teacher. And then they were very supportive. They enrolled me in San Beda, my high school alma mater. I took up teaching certification program or teacher certification program to get my 18 units. And there you go. I also met a wonderful teacher there. She was my friend, and I got her into Cambridge as well, which was my old school. And we were amazed. We were so happy doing the thing that we love. And looking at that, I was never really clear of what I wanted to be, what my life wanted to be. But while I did what I loved to do, I tried to learn the ropes and focus on the idea that maybe this is what I want. This is what I really want now, and this is what makes me happy now. Let's do something about it. Let's learn more. Let's find a way. And that's when I realized that that was my next step. But before that, prior to that, I was really, really just stressing out of where I want to be, where I could be, where I should be, and what I should do next. But I realized that it wasn't the end of the world not knowing the next step. And when I took that leap, when I took that jump without the certainty of getting the job either way, with the uncertainty of either being unemployed and just unsure of what I want to do with my life, I just went for it and just jumped and grabbed that opportunity. And I'm glad that I did. I thank the universe. I thank the people who pushed me to do that. And I thank the Lord for that. I really appreciate it. So, what I'm trying to say here is maybe you have to figure out yourself. You have to figure yourself out and be sure of who you are before you tread your path. Maybe not knowing your next step is okay because figuring out yourself right now will lead you to the path that you are maybe meant to be in. Because we aren't sure. Things will change all the time. Everything is just complex and will change. Your mind will change. Your decisions will change. Your opportunities, your circumstances will always change. And if you're sure of who you are and what you want to be, and of what your expectation of yourself to be, or what you decide yourself to be and dictate yourself to be, it's going to be easier for you to say no to the things that will just distract you, or and say yes to the things that will lead you to that place where you want to be. And you'd figure out that if you know what you want now, then probably that's going to be what you want and want to be in the next few years. So it's important for us to go down, focus on ourselves, and realize that understanding ourselves in that introspect kind of thing is important. So you have to realize that having this, being unsure of a lot of things, is part of our lives. Life doesn't have a blueprint. After this, after college, after everything, you don't have a curriculum of how your life is gonna go. You don't have a term one, term two of how your life is gonna go, what lessons you're gonna learn. It's really just a complete giant mess laid on your lap, and you're gonna be navigating through it. And if you're unsure of who you are, how are you going to navigate through it? How are you going to understand that this certain opportunity is not for you, this certain opportunity is for you, and that's for you, or whatever? How are you going to do that if you don't know who you are? So sit down with yourself, understand what are the things that you enjoy doing, what are you good at, what are your strengths and weaknesses that you have to work on, and where do you want to be? Do you want to be a doctor? And then if you do, take the necessary steps to become a doctor. We don't know how you're going to get there, but you're going to get there. You're going to try. If you want to be a lawyer, start finding schools that you want to study in. Try it out. If it wasn't for you, things gonna change. Things can change. You want to change and shift to be somebody else and something else just because you want it and because you're sure that it's not something you like, then go. You're not supposed to be guilty of feeling for who you are. And I know we all have responsibilities that are chained to us, but sometimes we use them as an excuse not to jump and take the risk. If we do have it, it's it's a sin. It's a grave sin to not take it. It's a grave sin to not take the opportunity to find and do what you love. So you're not going to be clueless forever, okay? You're not gonna be unsure of who you are all day. You're not gonna be unsure of who you are forever. You're gonna find ways, and the situations are gonna define who you are and feel, or some situations will help you define yourself. Not the situations will define you, but some situations will define you. Some situations will teach you that this is what you don't like. This is what you're not supposed to give into. This is not what you're supposed to. It's going to teach you all those, and you're going to understand it from yourself that maybe this isn't for me. So there are a lot of things that we have to ponder upon when we're wondering if we're ever on the right path. This is a disclaimer though, is that we're never going to be sure if we're on the right path. We're never going to understand if we are on the right path because it changes. What you feel right now can change, what you know right now could change, and all the likes and all the things like that. So when you talk about it, you when we talk about relatively knowing the right path for you is maybe being on a path that you're happy with, that you enjoy doing, that you see fruition of what you do, and you feel fulfilled whenever you do it. Does it really get you to sleep with a smile on your face, knowing that you're full, well, and happy with what you're doing, and you think that you're changing the world? Does it make you feel like you could lift anything and everything in your path just to become that person that you want to be in the future? So understanding where we are right now is just as important as knowing where you're going. So I want to tell you about this is that we can't know. How do you know where you're going? How are you going to drive the ship and navigate the ship if you don't know your own ship, if you don't know who you are? How are you going to navigate it if you're unsure that you like the color red? If you're unsure that you like poetry, do you really like it because you like it, or do you like it because some other people like it? And do you base your life on everybody's outside perspective of who you are? Are you living your life based on your own acceptance of your own truth? Because a lot of us will give in to the pressure of the society and the universe, or the society, not the universe, the society and the people around us, to become someone that we don't think we are, just because they say that we are. Maybe your parents tell you that you are that, they expect you to be successful, great, filled with money and all that, and you're pressured to do so because that's how they see you. And is that really you? Are you just really driven by money? I know money is not everything. That's what we all know. But are you really that person that's just driven by money and success? Or are you that person who wants to be fulfilled and do something that they love and they're passionate about and create things? It's really up to you. Nobody can dictate who you are supposed to be. Nobody can tell you how you should live your life. And you're not supposed to conform to the expectations of other people about who you are, because you get to tell who you are. Nobody gets to tell you if you like the color blue. Oh, you seem to be someone who likes color blue. Maybe you should like color blue. Are you gonna allow that? No, if you're a person that likes color red, go for it. So don't stop yourself from embracing your own person, okay? Grow into the person you are meant to be. Figure that out. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a lot of hoops and journey, because I went through that, not only in job hunting or doing my job and being in my profession now, but I also did that in content creation. I started with blogging because I liked writing. I loved writing at that time, and I saw that it was not something that I was really excelling at that moment, and it wasn't something that I was really already enjoying still. So I had to move to a different platform. I did Instagramming, I did photo shoots. I've been trying to connect with other people and building a community and managing a community where I felt good and happy about. So I stayed with that. And then now, journeying through that, I figured out podcasting. I stumbled upon it, and it was just great. Look where I am now, doing this podcast with so much grit, passion, and love, and everything. And I'm just so grateful. So thank you guys for making this possible. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast, because this has been a wild ride for me, honestly. And I just feel like I hit a gold mine. This is something that I would probably do for a long, long time. I'm not gonna give this up. If you're gonna give me a choice, I'm sure of who I am right now, honestly. I feel very good about who I am right now, because I'm sure that I want to be a teacher. I'm sure that I want to be a podcaster. I want to keep doing this. And that's where I'm going to lead it. I'm going to direct myself to that path. As long as I know that this is where I am now, this is what I want to be, I'm sure of this. Let's carve a path out there. And if it changes along the way, I'm not gonna resist it. I'm just gonna let it flow. You're gonna let it happen. You're supposed to let it happen. Life will change. You're gonna grow. Everything is gonna change. So just have to be very resilient in all those kinds of things. So when you talk about those, I also want to share a little stuff. I wasn't also so sure about teaching, to be honest. But when I really just went in and dived in, 2 years has passed me by teaching without me feeling like exhausted and burned out all the time. I would get burned out every once in a while, because we're teachers and we're dealing with kids and people, and it's always going to be exhausting. So I need a break. But it's not exhausting me to the point where I want to take and just leave it and just not do it anymore. It's just good. I just feel good about it. And I feel so good about it that I really just built my life and my plans into it. That I applied for a school in Australia, in Melbourne, and I hope when the things change, I hope things move forward in that direction already. But all I know is that it's already in place. It's already in the works. I just have to stay here and enjoy the moments and understand that being in this like state and current situation of teaching and how learning through all these ropes is making me also a resilient and better teacher, but also is teaching me that enjoying the process, trusting the process, that as long as you're aligned and doing what you want to do, things are going to fall into place. Opportunities leading to that direction will pop up anywhere you want it, or it will pop up anywhere that it could possibly pop up. So I also want to share a line that me and my dad like had a thing for. It's his line. Um, it's a quote that he used in his yearbook that I used in my yearbook in San Beda. And then it's also a pivotal line that he used to me when we had a falling out and when we had an issue talking about my sexuality and him accepting it. And he said this to me when I decided not to go home because he said things are going to change. But I said, I don't want to be home. I don't want to go home if things are going to change. And he went to me and said, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with all this, but it doesn't matter where we are right now, but where you're going is, right? So he told me that, but where we're going is what matters. So that's what he told me. And I was like, okay. So I listened and believed that and understood that. And my dad did. My dad changed a whole lot and understood me from a whole lot of different perspectives. And he's grown a lot. Kudos to him. I appreciate that. And I know that there's some truth to that, but I think it's important to also know who you are and the facts of right now to navigate yourselves towards the future you desire. It doesn't, it's not that it doesn't matter where you are right now, but I guess there's a truth to that, that where we are right now isn't the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's not, your current state isn't the worst state of your life. And if you always are just laser focused and seeing and wanting to be where you want to be, it's really just going to take and make you stressed about a lot of stuff. And it's going to take away the joy of just enjoying the ride and the thing that you call life. You're going to miss out on a lot of things. You're going to miss out on present situations. You're going to miss out on birthdays, on enjoying the small things in life, the small triumphs and wins, if you're so laser focused on just being where you want to go. So it is important. It's also important to figure out yourself, to understand the little things that make you giggle, the little things that make you smile out of nowhere, and figure out where you're going. Understand the situation you're in and the person you are right now. It could help you make sound decisions and judgments of where you should go. Because if you're someone who keeps jumping from one thing to another without sitting with yourself and enjoying the present thing that you have now in your current situation, you are always going to be jumping from one place to another, and you're going to be frustrated because you can't seem to find the right path for you, or the path that you think is right for you. Okay, I don't think there's any right path. Maybe there are paths that you think is right for you. So yeah, and I would tell you is that maybe you're not yet on the right path. Yes, maybe you're still figuring out all the things. And it's okay because it's part of it as long as you try. I tell this to my kids and my students. I want you to try, okay? I want you to keep trying, even though you think it's hard, even though you think you can't do it. Just try because it matters to me that you try. Why? Because if you don't try, you wouldn't know if you could do it or not. And you wouldn't know if you need help or would need help. So try. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You try it out. You just jump the gun. So, yeah, when we do that, you are supposed to keep an eye out on a lot of opportunities. When you are already sure of yourself and when you're figuring the next step to what you want to do, you have to keep an eye out for the opportunities that will lead you to those directions. And so, reach for what you want. Don't hesitate. Once you have understood the steps that you want to take and direction you intend to follow, claim it. Know that it's already yours. The fact that you know where you want to go already, what you want to be in the future and who you are right now, it's already yours. Think about it as that. Don't let fear and like laziness and blurred vision and whatever stop you where you want to go. If you know where you want to be, if you want to be a doctor, feel it, imagine it, already know it, feel it in the bottom of your heart that you're already a doctor, just training to become a better one, the best one that you could be. And it's already yours. Manifest it, work on it, keep going, keep striding forward, keep moving forward, just keep moving forward. Because I was never someone who was so sure of what I wanted to be. Okay, if I were to tell you that, I was never sure of a lot of things. I had to go through a lot of hoops to figure out who I am today and what I wanted to be. Trust me, this is the first time that I had a clear vision of a future, you know? A clear vision of who I wanted to be exactly in 5 years, in 10 years. Unlike before, I was just, oh, maybe I could be this. Maybe I could be this. Maybe this is where I want to be. And I would just keep trying and trying and treading all those kinds of paths before I got to where I want to be. So think about it as that. You have the whole time right now, or you have the time to figure out where you want to go. If you have responsibilities to stand up for and have to work on for, you have to try and still figure out a way to do what you think that it is right for you. Because I know I'm fortunate enough to have that kind of decision or the freedom of choice to do that, and not all people do. But if you get the chance to, it will be a grave sin to all the people who doesn't have it to not take it. So if you're one of those, just take it. And to those people who are really just in a rut right now and trying to figure that out and who they want to be in, they're stuck on a certain place. Know that it's gonna change. Things are gonna light up and you're gonna be able to find a path where you wanna be and you think that is right for you. Um then I just want to say, don't miss out. Don't miss out on all the opportunities that will arise. Here's an analogy for you. Some opportunities will sprout everywhere you go. It will be like mushrooms sprouting in front of you. All you have to do is pick and just see where that mushroom will lead you. So some of those choices and opportunities will offer you growth, would lead you to growth in the path that you think that you want to take, and some will give you clarity to understand if that's the path you should be really taking, and some will give you like that big break, that like gold mine of things and opportunities in life. And some of those opportunities will break you, will teach you failure, will teach you disappointment and anger and resentment, but you're gonna have to learn through all those, because these opportunities, I don't think they're so bad. These opportunities are supposed to be taken with a grain of salt and understand that they will give you something in return. They would make you learn something along the way. So why are we going to be scared? Why is there room for scare or scare, cowardice or fright and fear when it comes to just jumping up and taking these opportunities? So as you all do that, you really have to just see for yourself that in this world, in this crazy world that we live in, and it's such a sad state, if I were to be honest. I think what's the best thing that we could do right now is to, I keep saying this, but to be sure of who we are, to stand up to become the person that we believe and choose to be, not because of what people tell us to be, what society wants us to be. If you are someone who is passionate about cooking, baking, about politics, or environmental saving, because I'm learning all of those. I've been trying, I've been working on those kinds of things too. And if you are passionate about that, what's stopping you to become that person and chasing what makes you happy? So before we go on to our last few points, let's take a break.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
To end this episode, these are some few notes of thinking if we're ever on wondering if we're ever on the right path. I think we all have a solid view of where we want to be in life. We all want to be successful, whatever means or whatever success means to us. Success is relative. It is different for each and every one of us because we have different ways and perceptions of how life is supposed to be for us and how we want life to be. But I know we all have that. So if you have a view of what you want to be in life, I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you have those kinds of vision for you so that you could take the necessary steps heading that way. Moving forward little by little, step by step. Don't rush it. Take it a day at a time, take it a task at a time, take it a job at a time, take it one bite at a time. And it's important for us to keep moving forward, as Walt Disney had said. And you've known the story about Walt Disney trying so hard, figuring out that, trying to let the world see and hear his voice in the way that he wants to be seen in this world and heard in this world. So, if you are someone who really wants to be that kind of person, then go for it. I don't think something should stop you. I don't think you should be afraid of all those. You have to keep trying. You have to keep moving forward. If you fall, if you break, if you feel like the world is just crashing and whatever in front of you, you have to keep going. You have to pick yourself up and stand up and keep trying again. And maybe one day it would lead you to that end of the rainbow where things are going to fall into place for you. Because it will. You have to have faith in that. That as long as you are on the, like, as long as you're heading for the place that you want to be in, doing the necessary steps that you think it is necessary for you, I'm sure everything will fall into place. These opportunities will come to you. And then you have to realize that we all get so wound up to getting to the top that we forget that some of the things that we go through right now could point us to the right direction. We're always so worked up thinking that this is where you want to be. If you want to be a doctor, you're so focused on being a doctor and looking at the top of the mountain without realizing that you have to go through different paths and different routes to be able to get to the top of the mountain. And sometimes that view changes as well. So take some time off for yourself. Take some time to realize and understand where you are right now to figure out where you really want to be. You have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to your heart. You have to listen to the opportunities around you. You have to look, wait, and listen. Take a breather, pause for a minute, and see where is all the things that I'm doing right now and the opportunities that I have leading me or taking me. Where is the universe calling me to be? Sit down, take that time off. Don't be in such a fast pace that you don't know if you're happy with your life or not. No one will hold it against you if you're not on the right path right now. What matters is you're working on it, and who knows, one little nudge, one small act of kindness can open endless possibilities for you. You have to realize that it's not your fault that you're not in the right path yet, because we're all figuring it out. We're all just treading through this world that's full of uncertainty and things that we don't know and unsure of. So it's not entirely your fault that you don't know where you want to be yet. But it's up to you, and you're accountable if you don't try to realize and learn all about those things for yourself. So I just want to say thank you for everyone to reaching this episode. I've been just happy sharing this, and it's been a while since I've done a solo podcast, and it feels rejuvenating to do so. And this has been such a good episode. I loved it. Thank you for listening. So if you want to listen to more of my episodes, you can go to Love, Growth, and Freedom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Breaker, and GorillaPodcast.com.ph. Other than that, I want to say go to my vlog at Love, Growth, and Freedom on YouTube. I do video diaries there now. It's just showcasing the mundane life of someone who is like me, who doesn't really have a lot of things going on in my life that's so exciting, but I try to make it look exciting in editing videos, and I've been learning. I just enjoy editing the video, honestly, because it just makes me feel good about it. So, see? Trying and doing it. I don't know where it's gonna lead me, but I'm still gonna do it because I love it and I enjoy what I do. Next. You could also follow me on Instagram at are.Are if you want to see some content on pictures, some quotes, and all that. And you could also follow me in Love, Growth, and Freedom at facebook.com.ph. So, with all that, thank you so much, lovies. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.
You enjoyed this episode? Be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerrillapodcast.com.au or guerrillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.